The 2026 Grammys aren't just going to be another award show. It's shaping up to be the battle of the future of girl groups. On one side, you have the most ambitious, well-funded plan for global pop domination ever created, the K-pop model, exported by Katseye. Their group widely expected to snatch one of the Grammy nominations for Best New Artist and Best Pop Duo Group Performance. On the other side, there's a powerful return to raw talent, artistic freedom, and the rich legacy of R&B, championed by the UK's incredible trio, Flow. These two groups are more than just competing sounds. They're living, breathing proof of two totally different ways to make it to the top. One is a meticulously engineered global machine. The other is an organically grown, tradition-rich force. So which of these two blueprints will define the next era of group music? Let's break down how they're trying to win the game and what their success or failure means for every ensemble that comes next. Okay, so despite K-pop's massive online presence, a few acts have truly broken into Western mainstream radio or cultural dominance. For the sake of this video, when I say mainstream artists, I mean people on the level of Olivia Rodrigo, SZA, Billie Eilish, and maybe even Sabrina Carpenter. People any average American would know along with the song from their discography. The closest thing to that on the K-pop side are BTS and Blackpink, but they're exceptions, not the rule. And with the labor shortage in Korea, their idol system needs to expand in order to survive. Their solution? Well, partnering up with American labels to create hybrid groups, spreading their training system and entertainment philosophies throughout the world, while obtaining resources to reach mainstream America and mega global success. In return, US labels gets a piece of the lucrative K-pop fan economy. Of course, nothing goes without a hitch. A prime example of the consequences of the K-pop model is Vicha. So Vicha's rebranding to Girl Set after internal issues of abhorrent mistreatment shows the model doesn't always translate successfully, especially with Americans or maybe North Americans who live in a land of opportunity, and exercising a perverted level of control and promise of success is nonsensical in present day.
It can definitely hit hard at some points.
Baby, if you're talented enough, you can make it on your own independently or move to a city where artists have a bigger chance of getting signed, if you want to get signed. Because these days, most aspiring artists don't, unlike their Korean trainee counterparts who are more likely to be indoctrinated by the harsh idol system because it's probably something that they kind of culturally grew up with. And also, no offense, someone in Korea won't have the same opportunities as someone in America. And this kind of goes with Katseye as well. Half of those girls are international. One girl's from Korea, the other's from the Philippines and Switzerland. What are the chances that these girls could obtain the same success they have now in their country of origin? So they might feel like they need to go along with the program to get to the top. And all this speaks to the power dynamics in the K-pop idol system. Korean agencies retain tight control over idols, contracts, image, and output, ensuring their entertainers won't outpower them. As a result, there can never be a Madonna, a Whitney, or even an MJ. All artists who obtain so much power and control, they created their own labels, production, and management companies, along with owning major catalogs, ushering new acts into the industry while also getting the piece of their label's pie. Coincidentally, Western companies also want to restrict the next generation of entertainers from achieving the level of power MTV's first generation previously held. However, to their chagrin, due to the democratization of the music industry, most aspiring artists bypass labels to pursue their careers. So Western artists are increasingly fighting to keep their autonomy.
That, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Ownership and creative freedom. The influence of this contemporary attitude of independence can be seen in new label signees like Flow. Flow makes it a point that, even though artists are, some are signing with major labels, there is some pushback and they're wanting control over their music. Flow, for example, they have made it known that they are in control of their music and that they are captains of their ship, where their label and management are their partners, helping them to grow to be global superstars. And this can be seen maybe with Girl Set as well, if you believe that the members are now in control.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And the old regime who were sued for mistreatment are now helping their visions come true. I don't know what's going on over there. Katseye's 2 Grammy nominations are a major win for a group formed via a global K-pop model. But with their label using the top-down strategy in achieving the success, The question remains, how big is the payoff and would it be worth the huge investments put into Katseye? Now, the top-down strategy is basically when an artist is given the biggest opportunities and hopes to build a fan base from the top down. Basically, the artist starts off in the stars with hopes they land on a cloud. The K-pop blueprint really boils down to 3 things. First, an obsessive focus on flawless, synchronized performance. In the world of K-pop, the visuals are just as important as... Actually, they're like literally the most important thing. The choreography is mind-bending, the formations are complex, and the goal is a level of unity where the group moves like a single hypnotic organism.
It's just so heartwarming.
This philosophy carries over to their music videos and stage shows, which are high-concept cinematic blockbusters. This all-in approach on visuals couldn't be more perfectly timed. In an era where album concepts can make or break a release, the industry is paying more attention than ever to visual artistry. Katseye isn't just playing the game, they're designed to win it. Katseye has been active for 2 years now, promoting everywhere across the East and West on major stages, racking up millions of streams, to now finally charting on the Hot 100, landing Grammy nominations, and starting their first headlining tour, which makes me wonder if they're going to achieve the success they seek. What's a Grammy nomination or win going to do for them? And just a side note, I was wondering, what if this Grammy win could spell the beginning of the end of Katseye? Groups usually split during their peak, so it wouldn't be surprising. But what if Katseye became bigger than the program? I've already talked about how the Korean system prioritizes the company over the idol, but if you're trying to break acts in America, companies can lose control real quick since their system isn't fully established over here. Let's say Hybe succeeds in making Katseye a household name. What's keeping the members from running off and becoming soloists prematurely? You know, I say prematurely because I'm sure most of them joined the group because their end goal was to be famous by themselves, you know, means to an end. What's stopping them from taking off with the benefits Hybe gives them? Hybe better make sure those contracts are ironclad. Anyways, back to the advantages that Grammy could give Katseye. First off, it could influence more labels to make more groups using the K-pop methodology.
Don't do it.
It could broaden Catseye's opportunities in getting paid more and getting bigger breaks, maybe getting industry respect, working with higher caliber collaborators. Their streams could increase along with their sales, but to what degree, I don't know. The Grammy effect isn't a real thing anymore where people buy millions of records after a win or a nomination. If anything, this Grammy situation could make things worse for Katseye because now they have to prove themselves worthy of the advantages their label gives them. Now every performance or every song they release, people are going to scrutinize them thinking, is this on the caliber of a Grammy-nominated artist or a Grammy winner? Plus, in an era where the American general public is more suspicious than ever about industry plans, Katseye's major backing could work against them if used too intensely. You have to leave room for people to choose you and not force yourself down people's throats. And with how much resources it takes to make Katseye work, it makes me wonder how long they'll last. I don't see them sticking around for 7 years like the typical K-pop group because, I don't know, they require more resources because, again, they're breaking them in America and in the East. So that's more money going to more markets. Also, keep in mind, this is a group, 6 people. So that's more money on the table. I mean, I guess they're making a lot of money from their endorsements and their merch and their album sales. But I'm like, is it enough though for their ambitious plans? I don't know. Like, it's just it's so experimental. It's up in the air. I don't really know. There's so much uncertainty. Maybe I should make a video about that, but who knows? But I can see how the Grammy thing could be good for them big picture wise. If everything goes well, Hybe could be the first Korean company with Grammy winners and might leverage that to their other acts, and thus the system could be more widely accepted.
Ew, I hate to say that.
But which system is better, Catseye's or Flow's? So if Katseye is the meticulously engineered future, then a British girl group Flow is a powerful reminder of the magic of the past. The London-based trio feels like less of a boardroom creation and more like the spiritual beneficiaries to legendary R&B groups like Destiny's Child and TLC and SWV. They're bringing energy back to the mainstream that a lot of us have sorely missed. Their blueprint is the polar opposite of Catseye's, where the K-pop model is all about central control and synchronization, perfection. Flow's game is creative freedom and raw individual talent. These are singers who write and co-write their own music, keeping a tight grip on who they are as artists. Flow has established themselves through a mix of grassroots efforts while also using their major label resources. They do intimate shows by performing late night. They do small meet and greets and appear on Vivo's live performances. When they did their first major festival run, they'd also headline small intimate tours across America and Europe. Furthermore, Flow achieving so much while operating in Black American music traditions is important because they're showing the world their Blackness can be universal. Now, I have a lot of criticisms about what kind of Blackness they're portraying as universal, but overall, I support how anyone can see themselves through their specificity. Despite coming across as caricatures of a Black girl group at times, they're a callback to the height of Motown or the 90s where Black groups were popular, being Black and all. I'd argue it's that rooted heritage that makes them more appealing to me, as opposed to Katseye, where the global girl group seems diluted, trying to tick off as many boxes as possible to be as appealing as possible. Maybe if Flow wins their Grammy, more Black groups will pop up on the scene. And ultimately, Flow is proving you don't need a K-pop system to break through. They reminded people that the old playbook K-pop took inspiration from can still be updated and reused for the present day. But Flow's blueprint has its own hurdles. The deep love for the past has made some critics wonder if they rely too much on nostalgia. I know I have. While their music gets a lot of love, it's often talked about in the same breath as the artists they sound like. The constant comparison to Destiny's Child, while a huge compliment, can sometimes threaten to overshadow their own identity, creating what someone called a quote-unquote absence of attitude and individuality in their otherwise skillful performances. But overall, their path is a slow and steady wins the race model, which, while artistically rewarding, doesn't have the explosive big-budget launch of a group like Catseye. Their success feels earned, not manufactured, but it's much slower burn. Flow is betting that true artistry can't be rushed or engineered. It has to be grown, rooted in tradition, and driven by the artists themselves. Flow is built to last. Their metrics of success are primarily their touring numbers, from what I can tell. And remember, Flow also got a Grammy nomination for Best Progressive R&B Album. Mind you, they got this Grammy nomination with less resources and more artistic autonomy. I could see a Grammy win paying off further for Flow because the listener base has a better chance of propelling them into the mainstream as opposed to American K-pop fans. Again, this can be done with a fraction of Catseye's budget, so labels might find that appealing.
That take was really good.
But maybe that's just my bias talking. So you got these two playbooks, very powerful, very influential. On one side, the precision-engineered global machine of Katseye, on the other, the soulful, independent artistry of Flow. Which brings me to a big question, and I really want to know what y'all think about this. Which do you prefer? Which do you value? Cause me, it's I like a combination, right? Give me real artistry. I don't mind a big budget. Just don't make it generic, right? I like a little bit of spectacle, but I don't like too much. And also tell me which blueprint will last longer. Because Catseye's blueprint, it is intense, but you could just tell it's not meant to last. You burn bright, you burn quick. Moving on. Okay, so before I close out the video, I wanted to review new music you all voted on. First up is Frequency with the latest single, Once I Was a Good Girl. To be honest, on first listen, I wasn't vibing with it. I think the music video turned me off from the song. The video starts off with the girls looking like office sirens, being good little workers in their cubicles, and once their boss leaves, aka their ex, they switch up, smashing the office to smithereens. Good girls turn bad. We get to the winter glam shots. This is when everything looked cheap because all their solo glam shots are in that weird room. And everyone has that same background. I'm confused. Could they not have used the entire office space and have each member posted up in a different area with a different angle? What's going on here? I swear, I don't know. It's I really wish I hadn't seen the wide shot of this corner they were posted up at where they had fake snow. It just made everything look worse and cheap.
Because I guess you don't really realize the impact of things.
Is it just me? Let me know down below. And don't get me started on the outfits. Nori's coat and boots was the only thing I liked. One other thing I liked is that when the girls were dancing on the desks, they played the depth of field really, really great. Great choice. But enough on the weird video. Once I listened to the song in my car, it's a whole different story. Those ad-libs at the end go crazy. Nori and Brie are next level. I miss very emotive pop songs. I also like how this didn't feel too nostalgic. It does have nostalgic elements to it, but it also sounds completely different. So I'm on board. It's a smash hit in my car. As for Siren Society, well, they're a different story. All their singles fell flat for me. These songs could have been cut by anyone. Their lead singles, If It Was Me, Stand, Don't Cool Me Down. So when the quartet released a full EP, unfortunately, I wasn't optimistic about it. After all, it was just 2 extra songs added to their discography. Surprisingly, though, I did like those 2 new songs, but not enough to fully embrace them. Matter of fact, they're starting to feel superficial, a girl group with hot bods, and I'm questioning if they had anything real to offer. I used to feel an affinity for them when Erica went through her story arc of finding the sisterhood. This is back during the reality TV show days when Building the Band was, airing. When Erica went through her story arc of finding her sisterhood with them, that's the only time I ever cared or felt anything real for the group.
That's okay.
Now I'm just asking, what's their story? What's their message? Does anyone know? Because it just seems like, yeah, we're hot girls and we're just making fun, lighthearted music. I'm just like, y'all need to step it up. And the visuals, listen, I'm okay with the visualizers and all that stuff, but for the love of God, I don't know, does this irritate anyone? Where are the high quality pictures? Like, why am I just looking at your Instagram? It's like pictures taken from a disposable camera from like the early 2000s. Like, what is this? It's so irritating. Anyways, let me just wrap up the video real quick. The 2026 Grammys are more than a trophy night. They're basically a referendum on the future of pop girl groups. The expected nominations for Katseye in major categories are a flashing sign that the industry's most powerful players are taking the K-pop globalization model very seriously. A big win for them, especially for Best New Artist. That'd be a huge validation for the Hive and Geffen experiment. It would legitimize the K-pop system as a top tier, maybe even superior way to create pop stars in the West. And it could encourage other labels to pour money into similar projects. A Katseye win could signal a future built on perfection, spectacle, and the sheer power of corporate strategy. It would tell the industry the best way to make a star is to build one. On the flip side, Flow, which I think they're going to win their Grammy nom. They tell a powerful counter story. A major Grammy win for Flow would be a vote for artistic freedom and the enduring strength of Black musical traditions. It would reinforce the idea that real lasting success doesn't come from a test tube, but from raw talent, creative ownership, and a real connection to your roots. A win for Flow champions a totally different future. One where artists are in the driver's seat, where tradition is everything, and where the messy, unpredictable magic of soul and chemistry wins out over a perfected algorithm. It would be a victory for the slow burn over the big bang, for the song over the spectacle. But what if it's not a winner-take-all situation? What happens when these two blueprints collide? It's unlikely that one model will completely wipe out the other. Instead, the 2026 Grammys will probably kick off a new era where these two approaches start to bleed into each other. We might see more Western labels try to copy parts of the K-pop training system while focusing more on long-term development, something I kind of see with Girl Set and Say Now. At the same time, seeing groups like Flow succeed could inspire more artists inside those highly structured systems to demand more creative control and a realer connection to their music. Because the real showdown here isn't just Katseye versus Flow, it's control versus freedom. It's the pop machine versus raw artistry. The winners on Grammy night won't be just taking home a trophy. They'll be writing the first chapter of the music industry's intention for girl groups for the next decade, probably. The board is set, the pieces are moving, and the battle for the soul of music is on.